On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks prepare for Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals against the Golden State Warriors. What's the key against Steph Curry and crew? And also, Luka Doncic made first-team All-NBA. How impressive is doing that 3 times in your first 4 years? We'll tell you all that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
I'm sticking to it, baby. Mavs and 7.
Mavs and 7?
Mavs and 7.
So we're going to see you on Saturday?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks, where we're letting it ride just a little bit more today. Just a little bit more today. We're letting it ride. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of Locked On Mavs and NBA, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, where you can subscribe to the show. And the best way to help us grow is to comment below. Let us know what you think about these new graphics. I've heard you that it's too busy. I get it. That's sort of my MO on graphics. I always go way too busy early. But joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, and contributor at Mavs.com, the graphic guru, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
We also heard you that the people who bragged on it and
That's
thought
true.
it was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people did think it looked cool. It looks great on TV to me.
Yeah, and shout out to the people who watch us on TV. The people who've sent us pictures and screenshots and DMs saying, "Hey, I watch you guys in the morning as I'm getting ready for work."
Love that.
Like, shout out to you guys. We have a game tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Is history going to be made? Are the Mavs? Do you believe? Do you believe in history?
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Mavs and 7.
Let's play that drop one more time.
I'm sticking to it, baby. Mavs and 7.
Mavs and 7?
Mavs and 7.
So we're going to see you on Saturday?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
All right, Isaac Harris, what has to happen for Chuck to have to come back to Dallas for a Game 6? The Mavs have to win Game 5. I've heard it's a must-win, but what do they have to do to win?
Yeah, big time must-win game. I think this game could define their season.
Hey,
And,
Mavs and 7.
you know, even though it's already defined earlier this year in that stretch of 5 games there, but
hey, everybody got hurt, and that definitely defined the season there.
what would Chuck ride into Victory Square on if they have to come back to Dallas?
Can he do another horse? Is it?
He gets brought in on like a carriage.
Do you think it's like a Whataburger spread, just like put in front of him? Like,
Man, you know, obviously the Warriors have yet to lose at home in the Bay during the whole playoffs.
yeah.
As you guys know, if you've been listening to this pod, we went to the Bay for games 1 and 2. Really cool moment for us just to get to cover the team on the road and go to practice and talk to everybody. But experience what Chase Center is like on the road in a playoff, series, and a place gets a little rowdy up in there, especially with Steph and Dre and Clay, and these guys have been there for 10 years. But I think for Dallas, I think one of the keys, obviously this doesn't guarantee a win because they went up by 19 in game 2 and ended up losing, but I think it would be huge if they could just get off to a really good start. Can you get off to a start and try to take out the crowd early? Can you knock down some threes? Can you get a 10 plus? Could you get a 15-point lead in the first quarter? You get the confidence, you get the momentum. Could we get a Luka Doncic, 21-point quarter, but also, a couple guys hit some threes and you're putting up like 36 points in the first quarter. And you just kind of rattled. It's hard to rattle the Warriors, but you kind of rattle the arena.
Yeah, you rattle their fans.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, 36-22 at the end of the first quarter. Like, that's what you kind of need.
Especially since these are the fans that are helping the Warriors with this extra game now since they lost game 4. Warriors are making $10 million off of this one game.
Mavs sent somebody to like make a hole in the roof. I don't know if it's supposed to rain in the Bay or not.
But these are not like the best of the best Warriors fans. That's what we kept hearing over and over again, is that it's that they've priced out a lot of the real fans with this Chase Center and everything. And so now even going into the Western Conference Finals, they've priced them out even more. And so I think you can like take the crowd out of it. That's a big thing. That this group this Warriors group really feeds off the crowd a lot. We saw Draymond Green like try to hype the crowd up, and like when the crowd wasn't getting into it, I think it was in game 1 even, when he was just like, come on, let's go, come on, get into it. And he was trying to get the crowd into it. They have a great relationship with him, but I think that is key. Get off to a really good start, right? It can't be one of these where all of a sudden it's just the Warriors are just coming out and it's a 20-5 start for the Warriors and they're feeling it, and then all of a sudden they get confident. When the Warriors get confident, it is something, man. Like they just start hitting shots from all over the place, and all of a sudden role players start coming in and hitting shots all over the place. And I think you have to balance it. And to win games against the Warriors, you have to, of course, balance. But you have to get off to a good start. But you also have to make sure you have something left. Because we've seen the Mavericks get a 19-point lead in the first half, and then all of a sudden just lose it right away, or get a 29-point lead and lose it in the fourth quarter almost in game 4 that the Mavericks actually won. You got to make sure you have something left. Have something left on the table. And so whether that's more balancing between Luka and Brunson, whether that's more Dinwiddie to take pressure off of those guys, whether that's Frank and Josh Green, or just Frank even. Can they give Bullock and Dorian like a 2-3 minute stretch here and there? Maybe it's spreading those times out so that it's not all at once where Frank and Josh are maybe killing you there. But can you save those guys some minutes so that they have something left for a fourth quarter or a third quarter, especially the third quarter run that these Warriors can go on?
Yeah, and can you get somebody in foul trouble? Like, can you get Wiggins? Can you get like a Wiggins in foul trouble early to force them to switch up the rotation, to force them to put, whether it's Clay or to put a JTA or somebody in to try to guard Luka? What does Kerr's rotations look like at home in this game? But we'll see. I mean, it's definitely an uphill battle. There's no other way to say it.
Sure.
Playing the Warriors there. So, but if they win this game.
Mavs and 7.
If they win this game, then there's a lot of ears being perked up a little bit of, they're going to start feeling pressure, because obviously you're coming back to Dallas at that point.
And one of the reasons why it's such an uphill battle is, like you said, the Warriors haven't lost in Chase Center in the playoffs, right? Like, they have had a home court advantage. They have felt really good at home. It's been, it's something that no one else has done. And so if you can do that, if the Mavericks can go out and do that, then all of a sudden, okay, well, we did that and no one else did that. Okay, maybe we can do this and no one else did it. And then you start believing. And
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
if they beat the Warriors in game 5, it could be the best win of the whole playoffs.
Better than game 7 against the Suns.
It could be. Because the Warriors haven't lost at home yet in the playoffs, because you were down 3-0, and like the natural thing of that is like, dude, no one's ever came back from 3-0. You won at home, then you go there and you win a game 5 that everybody is going, like, everybody in the world will be picking the Warriors to win game 5 at home and everything. And if you go in there and beat those guys in a game 5 to bring it back to Dallas for a game 6, it will be right there with that game 7 win over Phoenix, I think.
Doncic, saucy.
That's what I think about that take. That take's a little saucy right there. My other thing was to just stay aggressive, right? Make them guard you. Jason Kidd's maybe troll job from Jason Kidd.
So I want to, be able to touch the car.
But he thinks that the Warriors went to a zone a bunch of times in game 4 and in game 3 and other times because they don't think that they can guard the Mavs one-on-one. That's what Jason Kidd said. Now, maybe that's a troll job, but for the Mavericks, make them guard you one-on-one. Make Poole guard you one-on-one. Make Curry guard Luka one-on-one. Get those matchups that you want. And if you have to work through it where it's 2 screens, or it's 2 switches, or it's a Spain pick and roll, or it's a double drag, or something like that, where you have to just work multiple things, like, get the right shot. Don't rush stuff. I feel like when the Mavericks have rushed shots in this series, it's gone really bad for them overall. And so stay aggressive, attack, but get the right shot. And for Dinwiddie, I think this is mostly for Dinwiddie. Stay aggressive. Stay going to the rim. I don't care if you get like 3 times to go to the rim and you don't get fouled and you don't get your way. Keep going at the rim, right? I think that's going to be key for him.
And everything hinges on the 3-pointers. Like,
it does. Yeah, it always.
If they
does,
can get the 3-point attempts, and if Reggie and Dorian can be hitting their shots, like we've seen this series, that's 3-1. That's 3-1 right now, with JB having a pretty good series, with Dinwiddie having an okay series.
Yeah.
It's not like they're averaging like 2 points in this series. So it's the 3-point shooting that is kind of living or dying by.
The wine.
Anyway.
That's what we'll be hitting if they don't hit the threes. But all right, coming up, Luka Doncic made first team All-NBA again. 3 times in 4 years. How many players have done that? How impressive is that? We'll talk about that and more coming up. Before we do, let me tell you about Rock Auto. With the ever-increasing number of makes and models of cars, it's impossible for your chain auto parts store to stock all the parts that you need. So save time and money when you use Rock Auto. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you like to work on your car yourself, say, hey, I don't know where to find some of these parts, Rock Auto has you covered. Go check out their easy-to-use website to find the solutions for your auto part needs today. Go to rockauto.com right now. See all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box. They know that we sent you. You could save 30%, 50%, even 100% more on the same parts that you could get somewhere else, but you have to wait longer. They'd have to ship them to the store, and then you have to go to the store a second time to go back and get them. Instead, just get them from one place, get them shipped to you. Again, rockauto.com. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Make sure to check out the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast. Rafael Barlow, DFW Zone. Richard Stamen, DFW Zone, a.k.a. Mavs Draft on Twitter. They got you covered, along with some other guys, to talk about the NBA draft, mock drafts, player rankings, and, of course, big boards. It's free wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. All right, Isaac Harris, Luka Doncic.
I was going to say, give them another plug here. I just listened to their podcast today. Raphael's it was a few days ago, about his thoughts coming out of the combine.
Yeah.
And some players.
He was there.
He went to a lot of their pro days and stuff, talked about Keegan Murray, some other guys. But anyway, they're some of the best in the business. So
seriously,
I'll rep them all.
Raphael was at the combine. He's been in all these situations. He's interviewed a ton of these guys. He has tons of connections with agents and everything. It's wild to talk to him on the phone. Like, yeah, I was doing this the other day and talking to Cade Cunningham. I was like, oh, dang. Like, all right. Luka Doncic makes first team All-NBA again, and it wasn't even close. He got the second most first team All-NBA votes. He was tied with Jokic, and Giannis was unanimous on that. And Luka wasn't unanimous, but he got 88 out of the 100 possible points you could get in for first place. How impressive is Luka doing what he just did? 3 in his first 4 years.
It's absolutely just dumb that a dude is 23. We said this on yesterday's pod, but first team All-NBA is what I look like. What I look at All-NBA stuff before I look at All-Star appearances when it comes to like all-time resumes.
Same, yeah.
Because it means so much that if you make first team All-NBA for the most part, with the exception of Joel Embiid is a top 5 player in this league. You had a top 5 season in the NBA. Like, I mean, it's pretty much that. Like, you can't always say that about all-star appearances. Like, no. Andrew Wiggins having a great playoff series, but he was an all-star.
Started.
So anyway, there's not too many, like, you can't really pull off a fraud, All NBA first team in the most part of that. Many. And I say that with all respect to Wiggins because we've bragged on him a ton of this podcast. So I don't want people to think that I'm saying Andrew Wiggins is a fraud.
Come on, Warriors fans can admit that was a
no. He's having a good series.
Questionable all-star starter. Even Cyrus was like, no, that's dumb. I don't know why he's starting.
But just some perspective for where Luka's at this early in his career. When you try to compare it to some of the all-time greats, like, I mean, he's right there, if not ahead of, as far as the first 4 years of your career, it's really, really hard to find somebody that you say, man, they had a better start to their career. And that's insane. Like, you're talking about Jordan, you're talking about LeBron, you're talking about Magic Johnson. I mean, Magic won his first title when he was 20, but he also walked into a situation with literally Hall of Famers around him and literally Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So, we'll talk about some players and when they won their first title and stuff. But just for Luka Doncic, first team All-NBA selections before the age of 24. There's only been 4 players to ever do that, including Luka. So 3 other players outside Luka. That's
Were
Durant.
The 3 other players the 3 other times Luka made it before the age of 24?
No, so only 4 players total as Luka's the 3rd, but Kevin Durant, Tim Duncan, and then back in the 40s, I guess if we want to, JJ Redick's like, we're not counting Max.
The
Max,
40s?
Yeah, it's
this is like
40s.
The Dust Bowl? Like what
we had the peach baskets back then, but Max
did we have the Second World War then? Like
And then if you just wanted to do, hey, 3 first-team All-NBAs in the first 4 seasons since the merger, it's obviously Tim Duncan and then Larry Bird and then the Iceman, George Gervin.
Yeah.
It's elite company.
According to StatHead, these are the players to make first-team All-NBA 4 times in their first 4 years. So, like, the only ones. Duncan, Bird, Oscar Robertson, Elgin Baylor.
4 times?
Made it 4 times. All 4 years, they made it first-team All-NBA.
Oh, okay.
Duncan, Bird, Oscar, Elgin Baylor, Bob Pettit. That's what StatHead told me.
It's wild.
The only players to make it to All-NBA first team 3 times in their first 4 years are those guys that I just mentioned: Kareem, Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain, then all guys back in the 50s: Neil Johnson, Bob Cousy, Ed Macaulay, Bob Davies, and George Mikan. So, like, since 2000, like, nobody has done this in the last 20 years. Like, Tim Duncan was the last one to do it. He did it between 98 and 2001. Before that, you have to go back to Larry Bird, who did it in 80 through 83. Kareem was like the next one after that. Like, this has not been done ever. Like, think about some of the guys, who made, only one player has made. So here are the players that have made All-NBA first team in their first 4 years. Jordan did it twice. Hakeem did it twice. Durant did it twice. LeBron once. Magic once. Jokic once. Kobe 0 times. Giannis 0 times. Made first team All-NBA within their first 4 years. Luka's done it 3 times. It's insane.
Yeah. No, it's dumb when you think about that. It's when you just kind of zoom out and look at kind of his like resume a little bit of, his first 4 seasons. He's had, 3 winning seasons. When you take away obviously the rookie year, but he had 1 down year. I mean, how many guys come in as a star and as a top rookie, and you're looking at the first like 4 seasons of, lottery, right? I mean, we talked about Devin Booker a lot, and Devin Booker is playing exceptional basketball right now, but look how many first
right now.
Well, not right now. He's
right
complaining.
now.
He's probably in some like empty gym complaining about a double team. But you look at the first round picks around him, on that Suns team, it's because they sucked, for the first good part of his career in Phoenix.
So did the Mavs.
Luka, and one of the things that hardly anybody like talks about a ton is Luka was so good, so quick, it kind of hurt their team building in a way, because, the only year in which they had a high draft pick, the only year that they were, quote, bad with Luka was that first year in which the draft pick to get Luka was, had to go somewhere else because they had to give up that next year, that 2019 pick. So they didn't even get the pick in which they were, sucky for, basically. And then because that next year in which they would own their pick, they were good. And it's like they've made the playoffs the fact that they've made the playoffs 3 out of his first 4 seasons, have had 3 winning seasons. They've had 1 conference finals now, 1 possible finals. He's a 3-time All-Star, rookie of the rookie, obviously 1 rookie of the year. He's been an All-Star 3 times. He's been a starter, All-Star starter twice, right? The second and third year.
I think so. And
then now he's a 3-time All-NBA first team. Like, what kind of resume is that? Like, he's on, and that's the thing. It's like, yeah, we are Locked On Mavs, bias, all this different stuff. Locked On Luka, if we want to say that. And so we've had this conversation just a few times because, the homerism comes out a little bit, but it's not even really homerism to say, man, if you want to look at the greatest players of all time and just look at the start of the careers, Luka is laying out the resume right now.
On track.
There's so many things. I mean, you're going to need a lot of rings to be in that conversation. You're going to need a lot of playoff runs and all of that. But for a start of a career, you really couldn't ask for, all the stuff I just listed. It's insane.
The players in their first 4 years to make any All-NBA team, not just first, but any All-NBA team. There's 31 players that have done it, have made any All-NBA team. But the ones that have done it like at least 3 or 4 times, like Luka has, since 98, Duncan obviously made first team All-NBA 4 times. Wade and LeBron made a All-NBA team 3 out of their first 4 years, each of them. And then Blake Griffin made an All-NBA team 3 out of his first 4 years. But
didn't expect to talk about him.
I know, but it wasn't a number first team. But yeah, like that's it since 2000. I mean, we just haven't seen a player this young, this good in a long time. Like I said, Durant only made two All-NBA teams in his first 4 years. Let me just give you one more list. I know we're going list heavy, but it's just crazy to see all these. The players to make All-NBA first team 3 times or more ever, like not even just in their first 4 years, but ever to make All-NBA first team. There have been 51 players. I'm not going to name them all, but there have only been...
I was going to say.
Here we go. Ready? It's like the Animaniacs with the with the country song. Jason Kidd, Iverson, Shaquille O'Neal, Steve Nash. But since 2000, the only players to make 3 All-NBA first teams since 2000 have only been 17. Kawhi, Giannis, Curry, Davis, Harden, LeBron, Durant, Chris Paul, Duncan, Kobe, Dwight Howard, Dirk, Kevin Garnett, Nash, Shaq, Allen Iverson, and...
Here we go. Brian Cardinal.
This is
Jason Kidd. That's it. Those are the only players since 2000 to make 3 All-NBA first teams. And Luka has already done it.
That's wild. He's 23.
He's 23. Now, coming up, what does it mean for his legacy, for his career so far? What does it mean they didn't get swept? And also, we'll talk about some other playoff implications coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Truebill. Truebill helps you with those nasty subscriptions. We all get them. There's all kinds of different ones that you get. And sometimes you just go for the trial because it's 7 days, it's free. And you're like, okay, well, that's fine. I can deal with that. They still ask you to put in your credit card. And the reason why they do that is because they're scams. They try to renew without your consent. Truebill can help you get rid of those, even if the ones that are hard. I know some people have like gym memberships and stuff that can be super hard to cancel. I'm not 100% sure if Truebill can help you with those. Like sometimes they make you call and or like go there in person or things like that. Truebill can help you with some of those subscriptions that are super hard to cancel because they give you a concierge that's there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. Start canceling today at truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Again, that's truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. It could save you thousands a year. Again, that's truebill.com/LockedOnNBA. Locked on NBA. All right, Isaac Harris. We've been talking about and raving about and gushing about Luka Doncic for 4 years now or so. 4.5, because during the draft process, I had him number 1 on my board for a long time. And so it's been a while that we've been talking about Luka Doncic. But now that we're at this point in his career, what are we looking at going forward now that he's made 3 All-NBA first teams in his first 4 years?
And he's progressively made the steps of, hey, you keep on making the playoffs. And now that next step after these 2 first-round exits, to the Clippers, which is wild to think about, man, what if they didn't match up with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George for 2 straight years? It's like you could have had like 3 deeper playoff runs, and so, but now he's taken that next step of, oh, okay, I've been to a conference finals. I've taken that next step of a deeper, I've won multiple playoff rounds in the same postseason that we talked about, like his shape and conditioning and all of that. But you only I think you learned that after this playoff run that you might not have fully learned that after the last 2, exits after, 1 round of playing 7 games, 6 games. But now you're a month into the playoffs and now you can build upon this saying, holy crap, I've played a month of playoff basketball. This is a grind.
And the confidence of, I beat that Suns team, right? Like we beat that Suns team in 7. Like the confidence of, we went in their building, we beat them in game 7. That was supposed to be the best team in the NBA. They had all this confidence. They had, these all-time player in Chris Paul. They had Devin Booker and Ayton and Bridges, that like this team that should be able to guard me that can't, right? 3 years in a row now, these teams that should be able to guard him, between the Clippers, the Suns, and then I guess this Warriors team too, you would throw him in there. He can get what he wants, right? What kind of confidence does that give Luka and his teammates, right? The confidence to say, okay, we got a guy that they just can't guard. How much confidence does that give Jalen Brunson to say, okay, well, maybe if my stuff doesn't work, then all of a sudden we know Luka can get something good, and then it just rolls from there. That's insanely valuable.
Yeah. So the next step for him is obviously, when does the first ring come? And when you look at,
let's go,
because if we're looking at his career and how it's mapping out right now, let's just look at LeBron real quick. I was looking at LeBron's first 4 seasons, and I was looking at
throwing up in your mouth like a little bit every time you look.
a little bit, but let's look at LeBron. Like, this is like kind of eerie and kind of weird of looking at LeBron's 4th season. All right. Mm-hmm. LeBron's 4th season, obviously in Cleveland, they had a 50-32 record. They made it to the finals and got swept by the Spurs
in the East.
in the East, but a 50-32 record, a deep playoff run. He averaged 27, 6, and 6, and he made All-NBA second team. This season for Luka Doncic, 52-30 record, a deep playoff run. He averaged 28, 9, and 8, and All-NBA first team. And it's like there, when you look at comparing those two guys, because they play a similar style. Like Draymond, I literally asked Draymond about a template, a team that they're trying to look at of how who they've played before, and he threw it up too. It's like Luka manages the game similar to LeBron, and so you just compare like the size, the frame, and everything, and the start to their careers. It's kind of really similar in that sense. But let's just look at. I know the temptation for Mavs fans, for Luka fans, it's just ring or nothing at this point. And I know that Mavs fans don't want to hear they're ahead of schedule, or it's okay, Luka's young and all this stuff. But let's look at some perspective of it a little bit.
I think a lot of fans are okay with that. I've seen a lot of comments and things. People like, whatever happens in this series, I'm good. I'm excited about the future of this team. So I think that may be a small group of Mavs fans.
But how far does it go? Yeah. Like 2 years from now, are fans still feeling the same way if Luka doesn't have a ring?
Or next playoffs, like right? Do we all just forget like when there's more expectations on them?
Because how many of these stars, and we're talking about all-time greats, because this is the conversation we're having, Luka comparing to all-time greats right now, but all-time greats who've won titles before they're 23. And let's just try to keep it like, Bill Russell, Kareem, they won titles when they're 23, 24, early on in their careers, like Kareem early days. But
guys, Bill Russell won titles when there were 8 teams in the NBA. Did you know that?
If you want a Bill Russell hater, you're looking at Nick Angstadt right there. But like, just look at some of these early situations for like Magic. Magic won his first title when he was 20. He walked into a situation with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kobe won his first title when he was 21. He walked into a situation with Hall of Famer Shaq. Tim Duncan.
And Phil Jackson, like all time.
Yeah, Phil Jackson.
Coach of all time.
Tim Duncan, he won his first title when he was 23. He walked into the situation with freaking David Robinson. Okay, we're talking about one of the best defensive centers ever, and also a guy that put up 71 points in a game one time as a center. The guy was on the dream team. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at all three of those guys I just mentioned. They walked into a situation with top 75 all-time players. Okay, so then when you keep on going, like look at
Luka did with Dirk, but Dirk was not near at any. Like, all those other guys were closer to their primes than Dirk was.
Yes. Then you look at like Steph and LeBron. Steph and LeBron won their first title when they were 27. Steph obviously
4 years for Luka.
Yeah, well, it's like Steph obviously had the Warriors teammates he has now. He has Draymond and Clay, and that was before obviously Durant got there and won a couple titles with Durant. But LeBron, 27. Obviously, that was with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, All Stars, Hall of Famers. So was it their first time that they made it to the finals that they won? Oh man, that's a great question. No, it wasn't. Shut up.
41 forever.
Let's love it. I can't wait till we do a finals flashback again.
I enjoyed those.
But you look at Shaq. Shaq's first title when he with Kobe was when he was 28. Jordan, his first title was when he was 28, when he had Pippen. Mm-hmm. Michael Jordan didn't win his first title until he was 28. And he's the greatest player to ever play the game. Okay. So he had Scottie Pippen, in that year. So can you imagine? And I wrote this down. I said, just think after LeBron's 4th season, it was 5 more seasons until he won his first title. Like,
wow.
How will Mavs fans feel if it's 5 more years until Luka wins his first title? And, so that's a time. It just gives it a little perspective of, hey, like, I mean, even going past that, Durant was 28 when he won his first title with the Warriors. Dirk, obviously 30, he was 31. And Giannis is 26, but still it's 26. That's, 3 more years for Luka in that. Now, the common denominator in almost all of that, with the exception of like Dirk, we're just looking at like all-time great players. So we're not talking about that Pistons team with Chauncey Billups and all those guys. We're talking about all-time great players when they won their first title. What did their supporting cast look like? And that's where it would be kind of bucking against the trend if Luka takes a team like this and wins a title, because you just don't see it very often, because normally when a superstar like this wins their first title, it is alongside another like all-star Hall of Fame type of player. And Luka just hasn't had that yet in his career.
Now,
Dirk's first year, like you said. But
Now, like Giannis is another exception. Middleton is like an all-star level player, but he's not like, I don't know if is he making the Hall of Fame? Maybe just on full resume.
I mean, you score 20,000 now, you're pretty much getting in. But I mean, Drew Holiday's
Shout out
been
to
an
Antoine
all-star.
Jameson. That's not gonna make it in. But
Drew Holiday's been an all-star, but he at least had 2 all-star people who've made all-star.
For sure. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't take a Hall of Famer like some of those guys, right? Maybe it takes an all-star.
Typically.
Maybe it takes an all-star, but with Giannis, maybe that's the exception. Maybe Luka, they can learn from that, right? Maybe does Brunson take another step forward and he becomes the Middleton type? We've seen him take this huge step forward in the playoffs this year. Does that continue for the regular season? And then maybe it takes a Drew Holiday type for them. I don't think Dinwiddie is that guy, but maybe that's the spot that they can upgrade, where it's another guard in the backcourt that can defend at a really high level, that can also get 20 points on any given night. Maybe that's like the next step for them, or it's a crazy good center, right? I don't know if it's a Rudy Gobert type, but maybe it's something like that they can do instead of getting like they don't have to get a surefire Hall of Famer for them to win a title, because it's been done before.
It has been done before, but I throw out these ages and these all-time greats to say that whenever you hear the sentence of, hey, this is still way early in Luka's career, this is still normal, that it takes an abnormal situation. It takes a Magic walking into Kareem. It takes a Kobe with Shaq. It takes a Duncan walking into David Robinson. With the exception of those for all-time greats, the normal-ish timeline for these all-time best ever players to win titles is this age range of 27 to 28. The Steph, LeBron, Shaq, Jordan, Durant, they were all 27 and 28 years old when they won their first title. So it's okay to be disappointed if Luka doesn't win his first title right now or the next few seasons, but he's laying this resume out right now to be an all-time great player. And even if he doesn't win a ring for the next couple of seasons, he is still going to be in that conversation. Obviously, he needs them at some point in his career, but
ask Kevin Durant.
Ask Kevin Durant that. But it's just to look at a perspective like that of, hey, the ahead of schedule thing, there's a lot of truth to that.
But he's also on schedule with LeBron, right? Like where LeBron was, he is right now. So whatever.
Now, hopefully he doesn't have to, leave town to get a ring. But
depends on which schedule you're looking at. But there you go. We will have a post game for you after Game 5, of course, as we always do. I've had a lot of people ask us this too. Yes, we continue to do 5 days a week, even into the offseason. We will start doing draft and free agency and season reviews and stuff as soon as the season is over, whenever that happens. So we will be here for you on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Guys, now make your second listen, Locked On NBA. A familiar voice will be on there today. So go listen to Locked On NBA on YouTube, wherever you get your podcast, as soon as I go edit and post it. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA. Locked On Mavs.
Whoa. Don't be cheating on me.
But go listen to Locked On NBA too.
All right. Peace out.
Boom.